And I remember saying, as I will now with no context, just forget you ever saw it. It's better that way.
Audience, welcome back to Core Memory, a podcast about movies. I'm your host, Cortney Warner, and I'm very excited because this week we have a fantastic guest. I'm very excited to have him on. He is a musician, an author, an artist, a former venue runner, and a current producer here in town, along with a lot of other wonderful. He also has his own podcast. He does a lot of things, and it's very cool. Please welcome to the podcast, Zac Caffrey. Yay!
Hello, it's me. I do a lot of things on paper.
Really, I hear that's all that matters sometimes. If you can list everything out, you're like, you know what, I've accomplished a lot, and I don't need to do much more than that.
If only there was a way to make podcasts paper-based, then I'm singing.
I think that would be one of those oral histories, like one of those books.
Sure, but just between 1 to 2 people.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I do have the one of The Sopranos. It's like the complete oral history, and it's just Michael Imperioli and someone else, maybe one of the producers, and it's just them just talking about their experiences as not the lead and not like the main director. But excuse me, but
They couldn't get David Chase for comment.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say they couldn't get James Gandolfini, and I'm like, I think he's out of commission right now.
Yeah, he's not much for the oral history game these days.
No, although I was shocked that I heard him in a play, or heard like a clip of him in a play that he did. It was a bunch of other cool people in it too, and I was shocked that he did not sound like he does in the show. And I should have known because he's a good actor, but it was jarring.
Because he's actually British. Most people don't know.
Exactly.
He was there, way before Benedict Cumberbatch and all them.
Right. I mean, it's a travesty whenever Andrew Garfield plays a Southern person, and it's happened more than once.
I think it's a travesty when anybody not Southern plays a Southern person.
Yeah.
Even a Northern American who is not from Southern North America often gets it wrong.
I think so too. Well, every accent I think is I think they always go kind of Texan, I feel like, because that's what they think is like the all American. They go like the George Bush route, you know what I mean? And I think like I think about people who live in Nashville, which is where we live. Not where we live, but I'm saying that for the audience's sake. I didn't want you to think I didn't know where you were.
No, I knew that was for the audience, and it is okay with me that the audience knows that I live in Nashville. That's all right.
That's great. Well, they assume that most people I talk to live here at this point. So not everyone has though. But anyway, but Tennessee, I think like Nashville has a bit of more of a nasally twang to it. Like true people who were born and bred here, who I know who are raised either in Nashville or slightly outside, have this like, yeah, it's kind of there's a more of a nasally tone to it. And I also learned that people from Northern California, like Oakland, and that whole area, same exact accent as Nashville. It's kind of crazy.
Well, they do call Nashville the Oakland of Tennessee,
which is, I think, appropriate because Northern California is Oakland, and then Sacramento, all those, because apparently they're the most conservative of the state of California. So that makes sense, I guess, that they would be the south of the West.
You're positing that the nasal twang comes from conservatism?
I think there's an extent where maybe everything's just super repressed and stuff down that they get kind of clogged up like a sinus infection. All the hate just gets stuffed in every little air pocket in their head,
Clogged up the way that these banks are clogged up. This is a political podcast, right?
Yes, exactly. No, this is exactly what I want.
Clogged up.
The
banks are all clogged up. We need to get a handkerchief in there in the banks.
And let them just get a big old blowout,
Yeah.
So and by that I mean blow their nose and also set off a bomb, and I think that'd be great. I think
that's not fix a bomb.
Well, Christmas is coming and people need money for presents, so I'm just saying.
Christmas is coming.
And I think what would a Christmas miracle be but money on the street, just for you to grab for yourself.
And
Um,
some of it has snot on it, and some of it doesn't. But that's always true of money.
that is so true.
Hmm.
When I worked in service industry and retail, people would pull money out of anywhere off of their person at times, and I've had wet cash placed in my hands before in exchange for beer and wine. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's happened to you, but
The sweaty bill. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
and it's and money. I know it's paper, but it's like a different kind of paper, so it like retains like the perspiration a lot more than like a piece of paper would. And it's just and when they stick together, and you're just like trying to get through and get this person their pack of beer or whatever. It's humbling, and I firmly believe that anyone who's ever had an office job but never worked in the service industry could not do that job. But everyone who's worked in a bar or in a restaurant or in retail could absolutely do an office job, because
Hmm.
it's just one is making a lot more money and the other one just touches a lot more money, physically touches, not actually gets
These
to keep it.
these one percenters, they have dry hands from touching all their dry money, and this
Yeah,
is what I'm here to talk about today, right?
exactly what I think is going to be a great way to set us off, but we can get right into it. After 6 minutes of banter, we can finally get, and now we can start the show. I'm glad, and all of this is staying in. There's no reason to cut it. It's all 10 out of 10. So, audience, today the two movies that Zach brought are very exciting. One has already been covered on this show, and the other one has not been covered, nor has his director been covered yet. And I'm very excited. So, his first movie he remembers seeing is the animated version of The Lion King. For some quick stats on that, it came out in 1994 and featuring a very stacked voice cast of James Earl Jones, Matthew Broderick, Jeremy Irons, Jonathan Taylor Thomas, among many, many other people. And it is, I think, regarded as maybe one of Disney's best movies, if not their best movie of that time period. Um, and yeah, also based on Hamlet. Most people know that fact, but wanted to throw that out there. So, Zach, can you tell me about the first time you saw this movie?
Uh, the year 1994 probably is the year that I saw it. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
that seems about right. I would have been 4 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and I was always looking at calendars back then and comparing them. Uh, I recall this movie not only being the first movie that I saw, but also my first interaction with a television.
Really?
I think so. Yeah, I had kind of new agey parents. I won't
Mm-hmm.
say the word hippie because they reject that term.
Mm.
Uh, but yeah, they were not fans of TV being in the house for a while
Mm-hmm.
until I guess they were like, it's as good as it's gonna get with these kids. We did all we could, so TV can take over now.
Right.
So I remember being called into a certain room in the house, and the room had never had a TV in it before, but this day it did.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew what a TV was, and so I saw it and thought, "Oh, all right, let's get let's get started." And packaged with the TV by my parents was The Lion King in the big old classic clamshell.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the big plastic. Yeah, I got you.
Mm-hmm. The most nostalgic of VHS cases that there is,
Mm-hmm.
more so than, just
The
cardboard.
paper. I was yeah, the paper one. That's when you knew that wasn't that good of a movie. I feel like or it was out for a long time.
At that age, yeah. If it was just in cardboard, you were like, this is not going to have the likes of Matthew Broderick in it.
No.
Can we? Can I ask who he played? I don't remember.
Yeah, he's adult Simba. So there's he's adult Simba, Jonathan Taylor Thomas is baby Simba or kid Simba, but then they have a separate guy who does the singing voice for
Hmm.
Simba, because I guess and also a separate kid to do the singing for the kid for Jonathan Taylor Thomas, because both I guess him and Matthew Broderick were not good singers, so they had four people playing Simba. And you know, and I think there's something to that. I think that singers should have work, and they shouldn't make every actor be a singer if they're not a singer.
The knowledge that Matthew Broderick is not a good singer is, I would assume, the least surprising thing I'll learn on this podcast episode tonight. You just
That
look at that guy and listen to him talk, and there's no pipes there.
No, there's no richness to the voice. There's nothing. Yeah, it's like he can talk fine. Obviously, he sounded fine as as adult Simba, enough that like very iconic role for him. Maybe one of his more popular roles, not the most popular, of course, but it's funny that they leaned into like the Hollywood actor star casting even as early as The Lion King. You know.
That does seem early for that. Yeah.
Well, no, actually, no. I take that back because um, Robin Williams, Aladdin. That was, I think, a little bit earlier. So maybe that was when they. I think Beauty and the Beast might have been kind of one of the last ones where they just used pure voice actors. Because who the fuck is in Beauty and the Beast? We don't know, and we don't care, you know. But Aladdin, I think, was probably what shifted all of that.
As far as Aladdin, you name Williams before Gilbert Gottfried.
Oh well,
He's the bigger
I know.
voice
Yeah,
actor in that.
uh, of course he is. I mean, yeah, Iago is great, but
Uh,
Robin Williams. I mean, having both two like very iconic comedians from the '90s in one movie, I think is great. But I think they really blew their load with that one because they could have separated the two and put one of them in a different movie. And really, I think because I would imagine both of them. Well, I know Robin Williams mostly ad-libbed his lines, but I'd imagine Gilbert Gottfried probably got in there and probably made up a lot of his own stuff too. I can imagine because the parrot was just saying some ridiculous shit in that movie. So
I would bet that there's probably also a full song sung by Gilbert Gottfried somewhere on the cutting room floor. Because that guy,
oh
on the other hand, an angel,
yeah. Who would have
a
thought?
an angelic mezzo soprano.
He have you there's this one, and we'll get back into Lion King in a second, but this is important, I think, for everyone to know. Back when 50 Shades of Grey came out or was really popular at the time, Gilbert Gottfried, it might have been a Funny or Die sketch or something like that, but he read the audiobook for for that book.
Uh,
And it still hits. I watched it not that long ago. It popped up like on YouTube, and I'm like, let's run this one back. I haven't watched this banger in a minute. Still so funny, absolutely hilarious.
so that book allegedly was like this massive awakening for lots of, sort of like cloistered middle-aged women. They read
Hmm.
that book and thought, "Oh, there's fucking."
Yeah,
I
it
wonder if
exists.
I wonder if any of them got the Gilbert version first, and how it all went for them afterwards.
Right, because you know sometimes you don't know what you like until unfortunately you experience it, the good and the bad. You know,
Uh
and
huh.
that's why I think that people should be scared of some things in life. I
Sure, but
there's some things you
not
don't need to know.
right. But I mean, is Gilbert Gottfried one of those things?
Oh, no, I don't know. I think that no, I'm thinking more along the lines of things that are, like, illegal and, like, not okay that happen,
Hmm.
that people have some, proclivities to that they don't realize, and, I mean, Gilbert Gottfried, like what you like, you know? Everyone everyone, I'm sure, has in their mind what a sexy voice sounds like, and maybe for them, maybe it just hit. I don't know, maybe the Percocet and white wine mix really just hit really hard that day, and they were like, "That's it, that rewired my brain chemistry."
I'd like to believe so. For Gilbert, may he rest in
Yeah.
peace. I'd like to believe so.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, both legends are gone. And now because one more thing about that too, in regards to Disney, I remember reading as like a fun fact. Well, not I don't know if it's that fun of a fact, it's just a fact that when they made Hunchback of Notre Dame, which came like a few years after Lion King and all that stuff, it was in that like Renaissance era. They cast three gargoyles, and I'm blanking on the names of the comedians that they hired for the three gargoyles for that movie. But they basically did the same thing with Robin with them as Robin Williams. We're like, well, here's a studio, just have at it. And they obviously not as iconic of a movie. Well, I think that movie is also controversial for other reasons, but that you just don't think, oh, the gargoyles from Hunchback of Notre Dame, what bangers! They are iconic in that role. I think Disney just thought any comedian could get in there and just do that, you know.
You say all this now, but don't you worry that at some point you're going to have a guest on and their first half movie is going to be that movie,
You
and they're
know,
going to
it's
be like, and I love the gargoyles so much, but I listened to your episode with Zach, and you were like, oh, if it's not Gilbert, it can all fuck off. Am I allowed to curse on the podcast?
oh yeah, say what yeah, it's fine. I'm not looking for any ad revenue or anything like that at
Well, I
this
also
point.
realized I said that 5 minutes too late. Uh,
I think it's like I think for stuff like this, it has to be with if you don't swear within the first like minute and a half or something, then it's fine. Then more like companies would be like, okay, I can advertise on this podcast or on this YouTube channel or whatever. Yeah,
if
it's
you
a very
just
stupid rule.
if you just spend that first minute and a half talking about how banks are evil and should be
Yeah, exactly. Well,
exploded.
I guess Chase Bank is not going to sponsor me anytime soon, and that's fine. I owe them a lot of money, but that's fine. I'll live with that. I'm hoping for more of an alcohol sponsor. I think that'd be more my speed.
Mm.
You know, I'm thinking that actually I'm hoping, and I keep manifesting this, and I did talk to someone recently. I'm hoping the Belcourt will step in at some point. I definitely have been very vocal about it, and turns out if you're just loud enough, people will either concede or they'll block you. So that's
Mhm.
something that I've learned.
The
I'm
Lion
glad that
King.
I'm glad we got all of that out of the way. I got to flex some of my Disney knowledge that it's baked in here for some reason. I can't get it out. So your first time interacting with the TV. So how did you know? Had you seen TVs before, like in magazines or something? I'm just so curious about that. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like an ignorant thing to ask, but I'm
No,
just curious.
no. Every Wednesday, I would go down to the drugstore and buy a
Hmm.
copy of Television Magazine. Not the TV Guide. It's different. This was a magazine that had articles about what TVs looked like and how they could turn on and all the things that could be on them. And I'd read it cover to cover every Wednesday and
At
dream
4 years
someday.
old.
Yep. Uh-huh. I think my grandparents had one
Okay.
because they had given up to.
Yeah, that's fair. That's interesting. We weren't a big TV family either, and we definitely were not into computers either. So it's always interesting to meet other people who like didn't have that early on, or wasn't like a part of their like you think about a typical American family in the '90s, like, oh, we gather on the TV and we watch Letterman or whatever, or we do
Mhm.
X, Y, and Z, and that just wasn't a thing. And yeah, I mean, God, I don't remember when we got like a TV and started like watching movies, but it wasn't anytime super soon. That's why I think I can vividly remember like my first movie so well too, because I was like, this is an event, and
Mhm.
this is gonna and I think it's interesting that people who don't get those opportunities, or it's not a given that you're gonna have that, become, I think, obsessed with movies and TV. And I would say that you're in that category of a connoisseur for sure, like I am.
Yeah, absolutely. Which does come from like having it been edged for you. Uh, Now I goon to TV. Um,
well,
Sorry.
well, that took a turn.
uh,
No, but like not to porn, just to like the 8 o'clock news, like
just to the
something just
thought
because
of TV magazine.
yeah.
Uh, but I am glad that I had at least 4 years of just like pure go play outside, use your
Mhm.
imagination, whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, and if that's like balanced with a loving TV and movies too much,
Mhm.
I don't know. That seems pretty fair. Because like,
Yeah.
I mean, I know I definitely have like I didn't have cable or anything growing up, so I was not really ever trained. Isn't the right word, but it's as close as I can get to like just
Mhm.
flip until you find something, and then when you don't find anything, what you didn't like, what you end up on is just good enough. Like,
Yeah.
I do care about curating my entertainment.
Yeah.
Like, I can't not get into TikTok or really any social media stuff where it's just like you're being told what you're gonna watch. I want to
Hmm.
pick, and
Hmm.
even if I'm picking total crap, I want to have at least picked it.
Right. You want to have consent in what you're watching at the very least.
Yeah, and the like don't have TV for a while. My parents love movies and TV,
Hmm.
uh, and did like give my brother and I very much an education in culture once the TV era had begun. I think there's just like let's get a foundation down first.
Yeah. So is there a reason? Do you know why they picked Lion King, or were like, this is the kids movie that's out right now. We have kids. This seems fine. Or were they just big Shakespeare heads? Probably no one knew it was based on Shakespeare, but
My
I was just
mom was a hyena, and
oh, right.
I guess, she watched it with us that first time, and when the hyenas came in, she was like, "Oh, that's not great," because they're portrayed not great.
Yeah,
It's a little problematic in that way.
that's fair. Well, now we know where you get your good looks from. Is that your mom? You're a half hyena on your mom's side.
And my infectious laugh.
Mm, exactly. Because when I think of you, I'm like, you know what? Who has a really loud laugh is Zach. So loud, it just fills up the room. See? So natural, not forced. This is an audio only podcast, so I think the audience is really getting a treat tonight.
I'm laughing so hard.
Yeah, so hard. He had to mute him. He keeps muting himself on and off everyone just because he's laughing in between every other word he says.
That's true, and I know it's scary. It's scary for some people if they hear it all the time.
Well, this is a tough audience. You know, if I open a show with bomb threats, I think that, and they still listen. I think I found my people.
Mhm.
Um, but
The real answer to your question, I don't know. Probably just like they probably were like, we got to get a kids movie. They have to
yeah,
start there.
right.
And if I had to guess, they probably looked at the selection of Disney movies at that time and were like, well, this one's about animals and nature and respecting nature,
Yeah,
which I do now,
yeah,
didn't before.
yeah. Oh, as a four from 0 to 4, no, absolute menace. And they're like, we gotta rein Zach in. We
Uh-huh.
gotta show him. So if we show him talking animals, then maybe he'll chill out a little bit.
Yeah. Up till that point, I was like, give me a tree and I will chop it down. And I won't lie about it because I'm proud that I did it. Uh, and then I learned a thing or two.
Yeah, and I think those Disney movies were educational at the time. I don't think whatever shit they're making now, not quite the same. I think showing children death on screen, whether it just be fictional lions, I think is I think it's important because life is fragile and kids shouldn't be coddled. And that's I genuinely do think that.
I have not seen probably a decade's worth of Pixar and whatever else, but didn't they
Yeah.
do two different ones that were literally all about death and dying and like the land of the dead and
Oh yeah, I guess they did do that. Never mind. The Coco and there's like one other one I think too. I didn't see those either,
Soul?
but oh, that's
Is that
right. I
Pixar?
hear that yeah, I hear that those are pretty compelling as well. So, well maybe they're figuring it out cuz
I heard that
I
they're pretty compelling and huge bummers. That's the thing. I think that's the difference. Is like in
yeah,
our era, in the Lion King era, you saw one person die once or lion, as the case
right.
may be. Now it's like, guess what, kids? Death is all around and at all times, and never forget it. And think
Yeah, and
about it.
also And it could happen to you. It could happen to your parents. Yeah, they are.
Yeah. And in
Yeah, I
fact,
think,
it will and might be today.
and I think, I do think that, yeah, Pixar definitely likes to be sad, and I yeah, it's interesting that that they just are like, we're gonna lean into this, and a lot of that stuff I feel like probably does, like, the sadness probably goes over the kid's head, maybe not the impact, but I think that I think in anything that you show anyone, if you can put some tragedy and surround it with some comedy or some music, I think will have a bigger impact, because it's like you're already opening yourself up to laugh and to enjoy something, then it can really gut punch you. And
Hmm.
that's why I just don't think they make them. Like, I sound like an old lady yelling at the sky, like, get off my lawn. The moon is in the sky and the sun is still out and I'm angry about it. Like, that's what I sound like
Mm.
right now. But I just don't think that they have that special sauce anymore. Or maybe also we're not the target demographic. And thank God that we're not Disney adults, because I would not have you on this podcast if you were.
I
Sorry to anyone who might come on here, unless you're like super famous, and yeah, I'll talk to you. But I don't have morals when it comes to that.
that it's good to take a stand.
Of like, I don't fuck with Disney adults, but I mean, live your life, spend your money. But it's like Disney adults and Christians, they're both kind of the same mindset for me. Of just like, please, just like grow up just a little bit, you know?
It's a
Yeah,
similar way of
maybe this.
thinking.
It really is, because what is, I think, organized religion in that way than like major capitalism. You know what I mean? Churches are non for profit; they don't pay taxes. It's like, I don't know if you ever watched The Righteous Gemstones, but
The
I think about
the songs are equally disappointing, in my opinion.
yes, yeah. There's not a lot going on there. They don't have a lot of edge to them. They're pretty boring.
Yeah,
You know.
those are the types of songs that Matthew Broderick could sing. Church
Oh,
songs.
he could definitely get him in one of those, like, super low V-neck shirts with like a skinny vest over top. Give him a guitar and give him one of those little faux hawks. And I think he'd be a youth pastor. I'm describing every youth pastor I've ever seen in like the 2000s, based on my own personal experiences. But
I have
um,
no experience with youth pastors, but I can say that I think Matthew Broderick gives that vibe.
I think so too. Yeah, and you can always curate your own vibe and change it, but I don't think he wants to change it anytime soon.
No, seems like it's too late for him.
There's a certain point in life where it's like, if you do start changing your whole look and your whole vibe, it's just like, all right, like, what's going on here? Are you gonna get really into golf now and, like, and date like a 15-year-old? Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean?
If Broderick came back and he was like jacked and all tatted up, kind of like if Matthew Broderick looked like Mickey Rourke has looked for
Okay.
the past while, if that was like just his general look in the world, and he
Yeah.
was, doing the late night rounds, and he's like, and I'm thinking about I might get back into acting too. I would go see the next one just to,
Yeah. uh, It's like, my just to see what he's been cooking with. You know what I mean? Because
yeah, what
yeah.
happened in his life that made
Mhm.
him become this, and does it reflect in his abilities as an actor?
Right, if you put that much work into your physical appearance, you'd hope that, like, or if he was transforming himself for a movie role, and then just, like, stayed that way, he's not one of those actors. He's not like a Daniel Day-Lewis, you know what I mean? He's not someone that's gonna really go all in. He's gonna kinda play himself, or a version of himself, I think, in
Hmm.
everything that he does,
Yeah, he's
and that's
gonna
fine,
play a nasally, sort of pathetic seeming, uh, uninteresting, not that funny or charming. Uh, yeah, that type. The
Yeah,
what
but
I call the Broderick type.
right, but occasionally he will play a cartoon lion who is based off of Hamlet. So I guess he did do some Shakespeare in his time.
Occasionally,
But so I genuinely, do you think did Lion King affect you as a kid being the first thing you ever saw on a TV? And how did it affect you as far as creativity, not like creativity or like imagination or like you're like, wow, animals can sing and dance that aren't at a circus or I don't know.
Never. I have to this day never been to a circus. Actually,
I never planned to.
yeah, I think I'm good. Seen them on TV.
Yeah, they don't seem that great. I've seen Dumbo, you know. I've seen Elephant Man. I got the gist, you know.
Mm-hmm. Uh, I mean, I don't know how The Lion King affected me. Like, I was 4,
Yeah,
so
fair enough.
if you take that movie out, am I a vastly different person? I don't know.
I mean, more so just like as a kid, like was that something that you returned to, or when you kind of like had it play like do a little? I'm sure as every kid does, like play pretend and all that stuff. Like, was anything of that like? I don't know. Like, did you ever like pretend to be a lion or whatever? I don't know. I'm just, you know what I mean?
I mean, I don't think I ever like played Lion King in the yard, but I can't say
Okay.
for sure. It's
Well,
entirely
right,
possible. But I think,
right.
I mean, I do have a vast obsession with monkeys.
Mm.
I'm looking at 3 of them right now, uh, fake
Wait,
ones.
live? Oh, okay.
If only I would have had to cancel this podcast if they were real, so I
Yeah,
could
that's
hang out
fair.
with them. Um, but maybe that comes from a love of the animal kingdom, which maybe comes from Lion King.
Hmm.
Uh, I think it's hard to know because I didn't
I
actually
know.
chop down trees when I was 3 years old. But I
What?
do have a deep appreciation for nature and animals and
Hmm.
the oldness of the world, which is all in there. There's this one thing in the movie I think I recall about the circle of being alive,
Hmm.
the big ring of being alive.
Yeah, and all the animals dancing in a circle.
Yeah, and they say it's the ring of being alive. It's been going on for a very long time. That's how Matthew Broderick would have sung it.
Yeah, that's that. You know, Hans Zimmer did the score and all the music too, so I'm sure he absolutely wrote that banger just like that.
Yeah, the song I sang was obviously a Zimmer.
Yeah,
You can
it's
smell
funny.
it
Oh, for sure.
from
I
the
think that's
quality
why
level.
the man who has several Grammys and Oscars for his scoring and soundtracks for every major movie that's come out in
Hmm.
the past like 20 years.
And
Yeah, that
inventor
sounded
of
just like him.
the inventor of the noise Boom
Right.
invented it.
Yeah, he did. That's definitely him and him and Christopher Nolan. What a pair! Because Christopher Nolan invented screens being too dark to watch any movie that's ever made. Um, I know that that comment is gonna piss off future guests. I know that I have a lineup of people who are Nolan heads, and I fight them on that all the time. I don't. I and I don't care if you like Christopher Nolan. He's boring.
Um, Again, I'm quite a few movies behind on him. I don't think I've seen anything since Inception,
Ooh,
which
that was
is
like in 20. That was 2010.
was a long time ago. But that and the Batman movies and everything. I mean, Memento's awesome. That's like an
Oh
exceptionally
yeah,
good movie, but doesn't
I agreed.
even feel like the same guy.
Mhm.
I think he got very good at making a satisfying blockbuster movie and then sort of just decided to stick with that and not really try anything else, including
Yeah.
being very interesting.
He's yeah, and also like I don't know who he has on his lighting crew. I don't want to insult members of the crew. That's he everyone goes under his direction, but it's like man, like some of the stuff I've tried to watch of his in recent years, I'm just like I can't even fucking see this. You can't even see anyone doing anything. And it's like this cost you $200 million to make, and you can't even like, I don't know. And it's one of those things where like I tried watching it was Tenet, which they only put on I think streaming like on HBO or something. So I tried that. And I was like, well, maybe it's the quality of my laptop. So I went to a friend's house, put it on their big, you know how you can like hook HBO up to your TV or whatever, but watched it on their flat screen. Still couldn't. Robert Pattinson allegedly was in that movie. Couldn't
Hmm.
see him, you know.
So you couldn't
And
even see when things were moving forwards or backwards in that movie?
it was not easy. And
The one
I
thing
think
that happens in that movie that I know of?
right that they move forwards and backwards, and
Can you believe
yeah,
it?
Robert.
Can you
Can
believe
you
that
believe?
there was a movie where some of the footage went in reverse? How did they do it? Did
I
they
bet
have
you
them
they.
walk forwards and drive forwards and then the cars were going backwards? Did were the cars driving in reverse? How did they how did he do it in
I think
2018 ish?
I think how he did it is that he filmed it all on VHS, and then he filmed the VHS and he just rewound the VHS and got it on IMAX
But
because he only
unfortunately, the TV he was filming playing the VHS was turned very low, the
yeah
brightness.
it was the settings that you're supposed to use when you watch Eraserhead apparently. So you know. But speaking of Eraserhead, we can move on from Lion King because I feel like we've covered we've been going at it for almost 40 minutes. So I think we got
Okay,
Lion King.
I hope that I
Uh,
did a good job doing the Lion King part of the show.
I think you did a fine job, and I think and also this is not a secret. The episode with the other person who was talking about Lion King actually comes out well tomorrow, and as in November 21st, it'll be out. We covered a lot of different aspects on both this what you had to say and what he had to say. So I'm very very thankful because, and again, not a secret. Due to the nature of this podcast, I've had multiple duplicates of things.
Hmm.
This is Lion King second one. I've had I think Star Wars 6 times, and
Wow.
really had to had to space those. You know, when you get to people around a certain age, you know, like in our age, it's either and it because it could either be the first movie or their favorite movie, and in both cases, it's
Uh,
been one or the other. And I'm just like,
I would
what
imagine for
more?
a lot of people it's both as well.
It is, and
Star
you
Wars
know, and
adults.
yeah, well, you know, I mean, I do have a small lightsaber collection, but I wouldn't say that they're my favorite movies. Is all that I'm saying. I like to bring them out at parties to show people that I'm a woman of taste and culture, and I have
Hmm.
3 lightsabers. Thankful that you did a great job with this. Is all that I'm saying.
Thank you. And
But
whoever it is that also talked about the Lion King, I hope that you did a good job too. I do not consider us to be in competition. I'm proud of you. Uh,
his name
and
his name is his name is Matt. He is
Matt,
a really
we're
old
not
friend of
enemies
mine.
as far as I'm concerned, Matt.
I
And
don't
if
think he
just
even
because one of us maybe talked about the Lion King better than the other one doesn't mean that you have to be upset or that I do.
Uh, yeah, Matt, because he does listen. He does listen to every episode, and so he will be hearing this. So Matt, um, you did a great job. Obviously, I had a great time on your podcast. Equally, same amount of fun as I'm having here, but different. Because you're different people. But there's no competition here. And by
No,
the time
not
yours
for
comes
me.
out, by the I don't think he will care either. He just different talking points. You know, he has a kid, and he got to show his kid the Lion King. You don't have a kid, so we
No, I'm
couldn't talk about that.
childless.
That's okay. You know, I won't I won't judge. I am too. You know, but not everyone is, and that is also okay. And
I
I
will
think
say
everyone just
that
needs to be okay with that.
if I did have a child, I would probably be caught up on Pixar movies. And so, Matt, if you're up on me as far as that, I
He
heard there's been a
absolutely,
lot of good ones lately. So,
yeah, he definitely. Most of our episode, most of the Lion King portion was talking a lot about how different movies are now. The kids' movies are different now from when they were when we were kids. Again, same deal. But he actually has like the research to back it up. You know, so 'cause he's spent a lot of time watching Moana, I guess. So you don't even know. I think you actually. I do think you and Matt would get along. He's an author. He's a very very cool guy. He doesn't live here anymore, but I could see a
we
world where you two would be friends.
we definitely would have at least one thing to talk about: The Lion King.
He's also a big nerd too, so there's other things to talk about. Anyway, we've talked enough about Matt Brown. Also, shout out to one of my dear friends, Matt Brown, who is no longer with us in the state of Tennessee.
Whoa.
He's with us in human form, just not in this time zone anymore.
That's a
And
weird
that's
way to
fine.
say that. You realize that, right?
Yes, I do. I know.
You made me very scared for a minute there. That
Oh,
I
that you
just
that
did
oh,
a
you
several.
shit talked a dead guy
I was shit talking a dead man
who his
about a
last thing
movie
he
he
did was
liked
my.
as a child. Please check out
All
my
of
own
this.
podcast. No, it's not time for that yet.
It's not time for. I will give you ample time to do that at the
I
end.
know you will.
Because what's the point of doing other people's podcasts if you can't promote your own shit? Is how I like to look at it. But anyway, so your next movie on that note has never been covered on this podcast, and it may never get. I may actually never let anyone else cover it again because it is a very special movie. And I have
Sorry,
and I think about yeah. Matt can't come back. Oh my God, leave him! Please leave him alone.
I'm
He's
sorry.
not done anything to you. You don't know this man.
I am sorry. Please continue.
It's fine. I know you're joking, and I'm partially joking as well, and he can take a joke as well. At least he's been my friend for almost 9 years, so I'd hope that he could at this point. But your favorite movie that you brought is also very special to me as well, and I mentioned it on my first episode, my solo episode. Zach's favorite movie, audience, is Mulholland Drive, which came out in 2001, written and directed by David Lynch, and starring a stat cast of Naomi Watts, Laura Herring, Justin Theroux, along with so many other fun cameos. If you're a fan of Twin Peaks, you'll see some fun cameos in there. If you like country music from the 90s, you will also be surprised. You will also really like this movie too. A lot of cool people in there. And as an anecdote that I've been looking forward to doing this episode with you, it is neck and neck for my favorite movie. I think it technically might be my absolute favorite movie of all time, but Tenenbaums was the more logical choice for me to cover for my episode, just given the trajectory of things. So now I must ask the question of the hour. Why is this your favorite movie?
Well, this is a little unfortunate, actually, that you were so excited and gave it the intro you just
Oh
did.
no.
I was going to ask to call an audible because I saw a movie last night that might be my new favorite movie.
What is that?
It's called My Favorite Martian, starring Christopher Lloyd. And I think My Favorite Martian is my favorite movie. So if you want to just scrap the David Lynch
All right.
chat,
Okay.
we just talk
Great.
about how Christopher Lloyd his name's Martin in the movie, but
Martin the Martian.
it's great. Well, exactly.
Well, it's great having you on the podcast, Zach. Thanks so much for
It's
coming
been nice
on.
being here. It's been a lot of fun for me.
What a great episode. Yeah, because I guess I don't have any notes on My Favorite Martian.
Shame. It's so good, and I could have talked about it for a long time, but I can remember what it was like to like Mulholland Drive, I guess.
Okay.
Even though once you've seen my favorite movie, My Favorite Martian, it's like it's hard to even remember how you felt about.
I'm gonna reach through this computer and smack you.
And we're how many minutes in?
Oh yeah, actually we're almost at time anyway.
Oh, well,
Well, do your best because
I'll do my best.
this has already been promoted on social media and stuff that Mulholland Drive was being discussed. So I feel undermined as a host, but that's okay.
That was not my intention when I turned on My Favorite Martian last night. Certainly, just you never know when these kind of things are going to happen to you.
And that's true. You never know when life's going to hit you and you're going to find your new favorite.
Yeah. Starring Christopher Lloyd and Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges.
No, not Jeff Bridges.
You don't even know your favorite. It's your favorite movie. And you
well,
don't
it
even name
just became my favorite movie last night. Jeff Daniels.
Oh, okay.
But you wanted to talk about the other one, and you were excited about it. So
I did not say. You came to me with this movie idea, with this movie,
I
and I was
know.
excited.
Again, that was like, it feels like kind of a long time ago now. But
You're the also. Anyway, it's all right. I can't get angry on air. I can get angry in private, and that's fine. And I'm not
okay,
super.
I jettisoned my favorite Martian bit. It is done now. I will take this show seriously.
Thank you. Because I was actually a little concerned. I'm like, well, fuck. This is the first time someone has been like, you know what? I actually don't want to talk about the movie that I wanted to talk about. And it's a little bit well, you're the one who picked it.
I
Actually,
know.
that's not.
No, I'm gonna let you host the show.
Okay. Real thank you. You know, it's been now we can start the show. I feel like that's a Rory Scovel bit where he's like he'll bullshit up there for like the first 30 minutes and he'll be like, okay, now we can start the show, guys.
Right.
Now let's get this going.
Right.
It always gets me every time he does it. So we can I'll just cut around all of that and I'll ask you again, why is Mulholland Drive your favorite movie?
Okay, so
Is it still your favorite movie?
yes, it is.
Okay, God, well I was
Yeah.
like that's I you never know with people. People are
No,
fickle.
no, it's baked in, and I'll tell the tale. And I've never seen my favorite Martian. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it at this point. So I was probably 4 when we were talking about The Lion King.
I thought you were gonna say you saw Mulholland Drive at 4, and I'm like, I swear to God, Zach, I'm pointing this back to you.
Lion King was first, Mulholland Drive was second. That's my
like,
first
no
movie, and then
way.
my favorite movie out of 2. No, cut to I'm 16-ish. Had started. I had smoked pot before at this point in time. I'm not going to say necessarily that I was high during Mulholland Drive. I don't know. But I was, I had entered a new phase of brainhood.
Yeah.
And super into movies by this point in my life. And I said earlier that my parents were, giving us a good education in those sorts of things. So I had seen Blue Velvet. I was probably like 13, 14 when I saw that. A couple of years down the road, and I had loved Blue Velvet, but it hadn't really it was just a really good movie that I saw.
I get that, yeah.
Then an uncle of mine had given me a copy of Mulholland Drive because he had seen it and knew that I liked movies and just was like, you'll like this one. Same guy, Blue Velvet. And so just like put it on randomly, just picking a movie off the shelf, DVDs. No longer clamshell, DVD shell
Right.
now.
2001, yeah, that's where the DVD, the rise of the DVDs, and then eventually a Blu-ray. So yeah, I'm familiar with the timeline.
And with the size of the casing,
very slim, slim, and yeah.
But that, unlike VHS, that's what you want with a DVD case, is that size.
Right.
So popped it in, and I really do think my only knowledge of David Lynch at that point was having seen Blue Velvet like once. And I just, based on the cover, was like, oh, this looks like it's probably going to be like a noir, like private detective-y kind of thing, which the movie does briefly trick you into thinking it's going to be. Very briefly, for the extent of about one scene, which is a great scene. But so popped it in with just like this minimal level of expectation and was instead greeted with something that is just like so completely unique and hits just an incredible number of levels of different tones all correctly and all weaving into each other. Watched it that night, spent the entire next day thinking about it at school, just like couldn't get it out of my brain, every piece of it. Went home the next night, watched it again. And I don't watch things twice very often at all, let alone like as soon as I possibly get the chance. But I was just, my brain lived in it for the entire period between those two viewings. And still does in some ways. And it was like, I don't know exactly how long after that the name David Lynch became like one of some of the syllables my mouth has made the most in the world. But it was, that was like the true starting point of like, oh, this guy does things in his own way and is like, of all the auteur filmmakers that I was obsessed with at that time, you know, Tarantino, Rodriguez, Coen brothers, all the ones.
Yeah.
His was different. It was completely different from any of that. More mystical and up my alley in every way.
Yeah. I'm with you on that, and I think I saw it for the first time around college. I want to say, so maybe a little bit older than when you saw it, like your first time. And same deal. I just was not. I didn't know what to expect other than I'm like, oh, I liked. I'd heard of Twin Peaks. I'd seen a little bit of that already, just here and there, covertly when I could sneak stuff in, and hadn't really seen much else of his stuff. So this was probably one of the first like movies that I'd watched all the way through and blown away. It it's perfect, and I know that it's on a lot of lists as either the best or one of the best movies of the 21st century, which I agree. I think that there's just no topping that. And yeah, I remember also, this is also for the audience too, because we were both there when I first had my first like real conversation with you, which was at your old venue / home, the Mouth Hole. It was for Fester, and it was the first year that I got to like hang out and like talk to people. And I remember we were talking for a bit, and yeah, Mulholland Drive came up, and Rory Scovel came up as both of our two favorites, and I was like, this man has taste. All right.
Mm.
And so for me, Mulholland Drive you are very connected to that movie now for me as like like I have friends that I associate with different movies and things and stuff too. And you just happen to get my favorite one. So
Mm-hmm. I'll take it.
personal fact for the audience, that I think someone might find interesting.
Definitely. I think so. I'm interested by it. Now that it is about me.
You were an active participant.
You mentioned earlier that fans of 90s country would enjoy the film. There are so many moments of it that is, I remember the first viewing being like that scene and then that scene and then that and that. But one of the things, because I was like all day going through high school, I was like, this is the only thing that's in my brain. I can't think about anything else. And I was trying to explain it to some of my friends, like why it was so lodged in there. And I couldn't. And I was trying to just like give them random moments of it. And I remember saying, as I will now with no context, just forget you ever saw it. It's better that way. And trying to explain to a person like, if you don't understand, like this,
Yeah.
that's a brilliant line because it doesn't, because why, because where is it, why did it happen that way?
Right. That whole scene and that whole vignette of like that with that in the house where it's like his wife and the wife is mad. She's like, "Why the fuck are you home?"
Yeah,
Versus
she's
like,
mad at him, and you don't even know who
right,
you are watching. You don't know who he is yet. You don't know
right. You're just
anything.
like, I'm watching. Yeah, it's like just this dude who's like walking around. This is before he like this is like before like he did any. Yeah, because he was just the only scene prior to that was him in the office where with the a guy with the espresso, and he's like, I don't like the espresso, and you don't know like they're talking about like casting, but you don't know who's important or not
Mhm.
important, and then you get to the scene, pulls up in his car, and then his wife just starts yelling at him, and it's like this is not. That's not a normal. Most other directors would be like, "Oh, she's gonna be guilty," and they're gonna freak out or whatever. But instead,
Right.
she's like, "I'm so mad that you came home early. You're ruining everything."
Yeah. And that, again, it's like I don't even know if you know his name at that point.
I don't think it's come up yet because he doesn't get addressed. I don't think until maybe sometime because it's like that all happens and we cut back to Betty and Rita, and then cut back to the guy who like kills everybody with the fucking dart gun, and then you get back to Justin Theroux, and then you're like, oh, this guy's a director, and I guess he has mob ties, and they have to
Something.
cast this actress. Well, I read. Well, I rewatched it last night, and then I also had kind of read a little bit into it too. That I think anytime you see something like that, well, like with Hollywood and David's movies, it's a bit of a self insert about his time working on Dune and like
Sure.
where he feels, yeah, which is all I think is a very obvious thing too. But for the untrained ear and eye, I think because people are like, why is that? I've heard people be like, this doesn't make a lot of sense, and it's like I think the movie makes perfect sense, but also in the context of an artist expressing his anger through other art,
Hmm.
and yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah, the it doesn't make sense. Probably the like most leveled complaint at David
Mm-hmm.
Lynch of almost anything he's done his whole career is like he is inscrutable, unknowable on purpose, and that really bothers people. That's something that also from that very first viewing struck me as like I like being confused. I like not knowing. It's fun. It makes everything like pop more.
Mm-hmm.
And the classic quote from him is like, "You understand my movie, even if you don't think you do. You do. You
Mm-hmm.
understand what it means to you." And I love that kind of work. I love an artist that lets their audience be a participant, and I think he's a master at that.
I think so too, and I think I've watched plenty of people attempt to break down his work and Mulholland Drive, everything he's done, and it's like you'll hear people who say he's like, oh, it's but more like based on feelings and on vibes and aesthetics and whatever, and that's an okay take, but I don't think that's all of what he's trying to break down. I mean, when I rewatched Mulholland Drive again for the umpteenth time last night, I was like, this movie makes a lot of sense. It makes sense to me, as I do think most of his movies, even Inland Empire, I'm like, I watch it and I'm like, no, I get it. I
Mm-hmm.
get the where I don't think his stuff is that hard to really understand, and I know that people think of him as some mystical like figure who is mysterious. I guess for me personally, I've never really felt that way about him. I feel more of a connection of like he is expressive, he lets the art speak for itself, but also like I don't think he's like tricking anybody or like I'm purposely gonna be super convoluted and use like all this weird shit just for the sake of it. He's like, I think that's maybe why I like him more than some other auteurs who are maybe more pretentious or try to do this weird shit because it doesn't feel his feels very genuine. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
this is like what I think middle America, suburbia looks like. This is my love letter to Los Angeles, California, whatever. And it all just makes perfect sense to me. And maybe I'm actually dumb and I think it makes sense to me, but it might not make. Who's to say? But I guess I look at him in a non and just like he's just a really talented artist and had a lot to say, and he said it in the way that he wanted to.
Yeah, and maybe you absolutely get it, or maybe you are dumb. Who is to say? And that's not a. I'm not joking.
Well,
Like,
thank you.
no, I'm not joking. I'm mirroring your way of saying it, just because like that is it.
Yeah,
You watch his stuff and you know exactly what he's saying, and I might watch Mulholland Drive and also know exactly what he's saying, and it could
right.
be two different things.
And that's
Uh,
awesome.
he isn't just throwing a fish in a percolator just to be. I mean,
Right.
on some level, it's like, yeah, he's
Some of it's silly. Yeah.
right, but it isn't to be so mysterious that no one can ever crack it. It's just
Mhm.
he is expressing himself how he does, and there's a playfulness to all of it. I mean, there's lots
Right.
of really hilarious shit going on in Mulholland Drive too,
Oh my
uh,
God.
and even the dark things that he's showing are playful. He just, yeah, he's an artist, like you're saying. He's just expressing, but because he is an artist and wants to inject as much as he can into everything, even there's a scene early in Mulholland Drive where it's right after the car crash and she's walking down into the city and it's very alien to her. She's like an alien, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this drunk couple walking by and you're hearing them like talking and laughing, but they're so drunk
Mm-hmm.
and they aren't saying words. They're just making noise.
Right.
And that is David Lynch's impression of what drunk people sound like having a
Yeah.
conversation. Like it's down to the minutia like that he just wants everything to feel strange because
Mm-hmm.
you're looking at something strange because life is strange. So that just gets so layered in that what probably is actually a very, very simple story in Mulholland Drive, you have to get down and catch the bigger fish to get to it because because it's fun too.
It is, yeah, and I think there's something to be said where the term Lynchian is even like used now in describing different ways to film things and stuff. So he became like oh my god, an advert, not an adverb. What you know what I mean? He became something in the cultural zeitgeist. For like, oh, if I see that, that looks like David Lynch, and that I think is very, and I think that the element of that too is it's not explained, which I think is cool too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just yeah, I like that every layer of it does feel, yeah, like you said, every layer of it does feel weird, and it is his own details inserted in there, but there is that level of playfulness in there. And in most of his stuff, I do think there is a level of playfulness that people, well, there are certain like scenes in Blue Velvet that aren't funny, obviously, but like, but like and across his whole like body of work, there is generally always a levity to it that I think people don't always see.
Yeah, and there, I mean, yeah, there's plenty that is very not funny and not
Right.
playful because much like wanting to just have one lion die,
Mm.
you got to have the different levels of spice in a film.
Yeah.
But there is also stuff in Blue Velvet that is extremely funny.
Oh
Dennis
my god.
Hopper's little outfit at the end that there's like basically no point to him even wearing is very funny. Uh,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, and I mean I was watching some like interviews with Naomi Watts and Laura Harry, and just like around that time, and also them kind of looking in retrospect on that movie. And I always thought it was so funny at the beginning when you have Betty and the old lady, I don't remember her name right now, getting off the plane, like they're coming out, and just everything that Betty was saying was so ridiculously funny. She's like, "Okay, Irene, well, we'll see if I make it on TV." Like just stuff
Yeah.
like that that is so fucking ridiculous. It's always made me laugh. And then I saw an interview with Naomi Watts and Jonathan Bailey. They did like an actors on actors thing recently for, because he's in Wicked and she's in something else right now. And he was asking her about Mulholland Drive, and she was just like, every take I did, I felt like I was the worst actor because David just kept saying bigger, more optimistic, more bright. And she's just like, what the fuck is this guy? She's like, this is the one movie I've booked in 10 years. And I'm acting like a giant idiot. And she, and then, once it kind of became more clear to her, she's like, oh, this is a dream. This is all like her, or an interpretation of the movie is that it's all a dream,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. So her over the top reactions to just very, very silly line readings all kind of plays into that. But when you're watching it in real time, you're just like, what is wrong with this woman? Basically, you're like, why is she talking like this?
Right.
And then just the contrast of that when you get into the other reality where her and Rita are dating or whatever, and then I mean, just the incredible acting from both of them, the stark contrast where they look completely different too.
Mm-hmm.
The way their mannerisms are and stuff. Where the contrast is good, and it's cool that um you don't know what it is, and then you're like, oh, that makes more sense now that she was probably like disassociating or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There, one is like a cartoon character version of an innocent with a dream, and the
Right.
other is this like stark painting of an old Hollywood ruined version of that dream.
I think it's a good. I think it's also again with the recent rewatch of just seeing like how they both. Those are both. I think both of those characters were in each of those women in reality, but that's what they. I guess what they would wanted to have been. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
not Rita per se, but like Rita would have been very successful and very like is like a mysterious and all those things, and she was very much more the social climber as in the real version or in the latter half of the movie. Where I'd imagine that Betty or Diane, I guess, in the reality and the other reality, probably wishes she was more hopeful and more like excited to be in LA and to be a working actress and then to fall in love and all these things that she did in a very like sideways way because of her association with this other woman.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's a good movie.
yeah, I mean that's the bottom line is that it's one of the best ever made.
One of, not quite the best, but close.
Well, I mean, have you seen My Favorite Martian? I mean, come on now. So
Exactly. It's like not fair to compare
no,
it,
it's not.
but Mulholland
Compare
Drive
the two.
is also pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I say, it's just as it's been a couple of best movies of all time lists at number one. Who's to say? I think our opinion is the one that matters.
Yeah, ours and Christopher Lloyd's and Jeff Daniels.
Right, and Matthew Broderick.
Well, yeah, I guess you have to. If I was going to ask him one question, it would be which of those is better.
Have you ever been to California? Have you ever been down Mulholland Drive?
I have been to California, but not been down Mulholland Drive.
It's
Didn't make it into the itinerary
I
yet.
hope that you get to one day. Every time I go to LA, whenever I'm out there for comedy or whatever, I always make a point to drive down there. I either will go get up early in the morning for sunrise, or go at sunset, kind of depending upon what time of year that I'm there. That would be more convenient for me to do that. It's I think the first time I drove down it and then pulled off at like they have like an overlook where you can look over the whole city of Los Angeles, which is really cool. I think I cried, and there was like a family there taking photos,
Mm-hmm.
and I just I'm not like a subtle crier as I have learned, especially when it comes to David Lynch. It's the second time, for the first of two times I've been in LA crying over David Lynch. And he was still alive at the time too, and it's one of those things where it's like, oh my god, it's like in the movies, and we're here, and this is where they make the movies. And then I drove I drove really fast, attempted to drive really fast on Mulholland Drive. So I'm like, I'm gonna be like in the movie, and then I quickly learned to not do that because it is all just winding Hollywood Hills. Like there's no and you're on like a fucking like cliff basically the whole time. So after a few turns, I was like, you know what? I don't think this little economical car can handle the sharp turns that I'm about to take. And also, it's a rental, so I don't want
Well,
to.
and also what happens in the movie that you were emulating is that a car accident happens.
A car
So
accident happens. I know. I was like, I'm gonna recreate this movie. Um, well, Zach, I have a few more questions for you while we wind down.
okay,
Again, I could talk about this forever with you, but I do have to edit it, so
yeah,
there is that caveat.
for sure.
Not
Also,
that I
I'm
don't,
not
not
very
that
good at talking about movies, so
I think you did great. I think you were no better or worse than my friend Matt Brown. And so I will give you that. And I think you did a great job.
mm.
So with both Mulholland Drive and The Lion King, I ask all these questions to everybody. But do you see any correlations between the two movies and how they may have? We already discussed how Lion King probably didn't affect you that much, but like, do you see like how maybe we already got so that question that I won't get into that, but like, do you see any correlations between the two and why?
And this is for Lion King and Mulholland Drive.
Between each other.
They both in color. Credits. Some talking. No lions in Mulholland Drive.
That we know of.
No.
Could have been off camera.
There's a cowboy in both. No. Uh,
I mean, I have some thoughts. Is
Yeah,
that
what do you think?
I think that both explore people who feel destined for something and then they don't get it, and because of that, then their life kind of gets thrown off the rails. Lion King, more of an optimistic ending. And in Mulholland Drive, not as much. Where I see Betty Diane as someone who's like, I am entitled to this woman's affection, and I'm entitled to this, and she is only supposed to like me, and then the whole kind of series of events happens. And then with Lion King, Simba is actually destined for the crown. He is destined to be king of of Pride Rock or whatever. And then that is his own arrogance, as is called out in the movie. He's like, "Oh, this little prince is so arrogant. He thinks he already runs the show because he knows he's the heir." Well, his shit gets rocked pretty fucking hard early on in his life, and then change of events, and both of them, I'd say, well, we don't know really what happens to Diane at the end. Uh, Really, what her any kind of remorse. I think she does have remorse given her daydream about what could have been, but I think they both come back with like a different perspective, just shown in different ways. So that was my um correlation with the two.
Uh, can I ask you a question? Is that
Yeah.
allowed?
Yeah, yes. It's funny that people ask me if it's allowed to. If people are allowed to ask me. Yes, you may approach the bench.
Thank you. So my favorite line in the movie Mulholland Drive, my single favorite line of dialogue. You will see me one more time if you do good. You will see me two more times if you do bad. Do you think that it's true that we see him two more times then?
Yes, but
And what do you
Justin
think
Thoreau.
that says? Oh, go ahead. Finish that thought.
Oh no, no, I didn't mean to cut. Yeah, we do see him two more times,
But Justin Thoreau
but
does not.
only sees him the one time because I think someone else sees him, but it's not. But we as the audience see him.
Mm-hmm.
So what I think is that I think he. So it's a good question. Um, I don't. I also don't get asked a lot of questions on my own podcast. I guess it's because I scare people away from asking me questions. It turns out, but I think that Justin would have cast Betty in the movie over the other girl that he was told that he was going to cast. But then, Cowboy shows up and that like they're like, "Oh yeah, you're going to make the right decision, right?" So I think he sees him that last time, but I would think that the cowboy maybe is like, "Oh, I sense that he might fuck it up. So I'm going to show up again, but he won't see me, but the audience will." Because he
Mm-hmm.
wavered for a second on that choice when he locked eyes with, and where I'm like, he would have absolutely cast her if he wasn't being held hostage somehow. So I think
But
we were supposed to know, but we know. Yeah,
we see him twice.
right.
So did we do a bad job?
I mean, no, I think that it was. I don't think we did a bad job, and that is the answer that I will give.
Okay.
Do you think we did a bad job?
I think David Lynch told us if we see this guy two more times, then we did a bad. And we saw
I
him
don't.
two times.
Right, but I don't think that we weren't the one. He was threatening. He was threatening Justin Theroux's character. He wasn't threatening us. I think either because I don't think there's any mistakes in David's movies. I think he was very meticulous about that. I
Oh,
just
I
think that.
definitely don't think it's a mistake.
So what do you think it is?
I don't know.
Oh, so you wanted me to answer the question, but you
I
don't
never
have an
thought
answer.
about it. I have seen the movie before.
Mhm.
No,
Well, thank God
I
for
think it's
that.
no. My real answer is like that's the kind of thing. That's sort of exactly what I mean about. I like that David Lynch does not give you answers and lets you figure it out for yourself. Because I also like to not decide. I love the idea that he gives you this cue. Are we going to see
Mhm.
this character once or are we going to see them twice? And in the back of your
Right.
mind, you are spending the whole rest of the movie waiting.
Mhm.
And then you see him once and you know, oh, if we see him again, that's bad.
Right.
And then you do.
Hmm.
But the guy doesn't, but you do.
Right.
And I don't have an interpretation of it necessarily, but I love that it is there.
Yeah, I do too. And that was something that I noticed pretty quickly on like my first or second watch of that, of like, oh wait, he comes back. But I think that's also something that like I think is really important for, I think, art to sustain the test of time, is to be open interpretation and discussion, because Mulholland Drive came out 2001. God, like 24 years ago it came out. Insane, you know, but the fact that we're still talking about it and still are discussing like these things from it means that I think it'll live on for as long as people watch movies and will be discussed, as I think most great art is, because you know, you go to an art gallery and what everyone is sitting around looking at art and they're interpreting it. They're like, this
Mm-hmm.
is how it makes me feel. People, you know, people who studied art, fine art, could probably describe like, oh, this is what they were working on at this time, what they were going through. But I think most people are like, I go to the art exhibits or go and see a movie to feel something so that I can like take something from that. And I feel like a lot of times movies, I wouldn't just say everything being made now, but in general, there are a lot of movies that are and TV shows that spoon feed you everything. That it's like, this is
Yeah.
what I'm trying to tell you. This is what it is. There's no room for interpretation of it otherwise. And I think that kills art, any kind of like longevity for that, or any kind of like spirit of that, because you're going to discuss it with your friends at a bar later and be like, yeah, well, um, that was that, and we know that's that because that's what they told us.
Mm-hmm.
And then you move on to talk about something else, you know?
Yeah. You get up from the end of something, even good things,
Hmm.
and it's a closed loop. But
Yeah.
you get up from something like Mulholland Drive or other David Lynch stuff, not exclusively. Some of his is closed loop too, but
Right.
the loop isn't closed. It's still open,
Hmm.
and you can spend a whole next day at high school thinking about it,
Yeah.
but not college. Or no, for you, college, but not grad
Yeah.
school.
No.
Get You have work to do
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
listening.
If you're making it to grad school, good on you. I don't think either of us made it that far.
Oh, by
Um,
choice.
yeah, also that too. Oh no. There was a time where I briefly considered going back to school because I was like, well, everyone else is. And then I was like, oh no, Courtney, you hated school. You hated
Hmm.
it so much. uh, it's just, there's a lot, yeah, but anyway, that's not the point of this podcast. But I have a couple more, two rapid fire questions for you, and then I'll then you know, I'll let you go for the evening. And I say rapid fire, answer them as fast or as slow as you'd like. Just you know, I've never had to say this to a guest before, but please do answer them as honestly as you can. This is the first time I've had to ask somebody that, but so you had to if you had to recast both movies, and I know Lion King's animated, doesn't fucking matter. Picture it how you will. If you had to recast both movies, but keep one original character, actor, or whatever, in the movie, but recast it all with Muppets, who would you keep in both movies?
Sorry, every character except for one stays
Is a
this
Muppet,
becomes a Muppet. One person stays the same.
right?
Okay. Um, for the Lion King, so okay, so for the Lion King, it's Muppets, but they're in an animated world,
I
but they
guess.
are live action.
I guess if you like, if you wanted to look at, maybe just you could use a live action Lion King as the example then, because that, although that's
No,
all
I've never
you want to
seen
you
them.
it's the same, it's shot for shot, I think the same exact movie from what I've heard. But so okay, so yeah, let's do like, you know, like what is it, Muppet Babies? Like that was animated. So let's do, not, don't use Muppet Babies as like your options, but the Muppets have been animated before. So if you must do an animated, actually no, this is actually really tough with an animated movie. Everyone in the Muppets is live action, but you have one animated character that stays the same in the Lion King, like Roger Rabbit, I guess. Something,
Okay,
think about it, something like that.
okay. Uh, I would. Who's Simba's dad?
Mufasa.
Yeah, let's get him out of the way quick so that we can get to more Muppets. Get this
Okay.
animated guy out of here.
And let's just keep it the Muppets. I guess Kermit would be Simba. He's the everyman.
Oh, I can't do all that.
Okay,
I genuinely
that's fair.
don't know the names of the Muppets well enough to
Gotcha.
do that
Okay,
accurately.
fair. Fair.
Uh,
I never know people's level of comfortability with the Muppets. It varies. They're
uh,
cultural. They've been in the zeitgeist for so long.
I'm
But from a whole
comfortable with the Muppets. I'm just ignorant of them. But they don't scare me. I'm not
oh
scared
no,
of them.
I didn't think that they're like they creep you out. I mean, like they're people who, with their like knowledge on them or whatever. But
Yeah, I know. Like Gonzo is one.
yeah, he
So
has the
he
hook
so
thing.
he can be Timon. So so I played. I did answer the question.
You did, and the second
Okay,
part is
for
Mulholland
Mulholland
Drive.
Drive, um, the lady who says it bit me on the butt. That can be Miss Piggy. She'll nail that. Uh, I mean,
Incredible acting.
Kermit is he's like the main Muppet, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's Justin Thoreau. He comes home and finds his wife cheating on him, and the guy says, "Just forget you ever saw it. It's better that way." And then pink paint gets dumped on him, which would go very nicely on his green skin.
Mm.
The pink will repop the color.
But who would the human be? Who would you keep
Uh,
as the human?
um, I think the quote unquote monster that pops out from behind the dumpster,
Yeah. Okay.
because that person kind of looked like a Muppet, so I think it would be
Yeah.
less jarring. That would like work the best,
Hmm.
but I nobody could perform the character of the cowboy as well as that actor did, uh,
Agreed.
who was not even an actor. He was just a producer
Right.
or a friend of David Lynch's. That guy is brilliantly scary and strange and cold. And I don't frankly think any of the Muppets that I'm aware of could have been that like menacing without it being villainous.
Right.
But
I think. Yeah.
sorry if that's me counting out any Muppets that are that good.
I don't think. I mean, if you look across, I say Muppets, and I mean everything that Jim Henson put his hands on, basically. So that includes like Labyrinth and Sesame Street and all that stuff. So
Oh,
it's all
so
those are
like
all
Farscape guys are allowed to be.
yeah. So all those are up for grabs. But
Oh,
I
that
think
changes everything. I could talk about the Farscape Muppets.
I'll have you back on for the our Patreon episode, and we can just discuss that at My Favorite Martian.
Okay. And my
Um,
favorite Martian, obviously, you got to keep Christopher Lloyd because that guy's more of a Muppet than most of the Muppets are sometimes, if you really, some of the
if you look
things he
at it,
gets up to.
truly, if you look at him, and I used to get him and the guy from Third Rock from the Sun mixed up a lot, and I feel really bad. John Lithgow,
I
and
can understand that. Yeah, they have a.
I'm the vibes, and they're not British, but they talk like with like this mid Atlantic accent, and they're like these very like long men with white hair, and
Mhm.
they both Third Rock from the Sun, Back to the Future, space, aliens, time, like that all kind of sat in the
Definitely.
same when I was
And
inundated with.
in Third Rock from the Sun, they were aliens.
Mhm.
And in my favorite movie, My Favorite Martian, uh, Christopher Lloyd's character is named Martin, but
You
there's a
know,
little bit of a trick to it. There's,
and well, I
I don't
will.
want to give it away because it's up to
Don't get
everybody's interpretation, really. But
right. That's up there with the Mulholland Drive of like, let's interpret. Yeah, that. So next time I have you on as for a special episode that'll live on the Patreon, we can discuss those, and it'll be up to everyone's interpretation. My final question for you is: what is your go-to movie, snack, and drink? Theater, at home. If it's different or the same, what do you got to have when you're watching something?
okay, I am sorry because this now seems like I'm being a little devil again, which I don't mean to. But I did have another question I wanted to ask you,
Okay, what do you want?
and
Okay, God, what do you
this
want?
is
What do
a
you want?
real one.
What do you want to ask me?
It came out of the My Favorite Martian joke, but it's a real question.
Okay.
as a host of a podcast where you talk about favorite movies, and you obviously have your own favorite movies,
Mm-hmm.
what is the most recent movie that cracked like top 5?
Oh,
For
that's a
me,
good
Beau is
question.
Afraid.
Oh,
Unseating
that,
movies that had been there for like
yeah,
decades in some
right.
cases. And of course, my favorite
Well,
Martian too. But
I was gonna say you can't leave out my favorite Martian. Um, I did recently watch Beau is Afraid as well for the first time, and that was incredible. Um, I don't know if it would have cracked my top 5 at least at this time. Maybe it was. Maybe it just wasn't for me. I did enjoy it. This is a great question. I've been
it's a
watching.
movie that could easily not be for basically anyone. It's very caustic and
Yeah, I well, I mean, I love everything that Ari Aster makes, and but I think that Beau is Afraid is maybe a little on the lower level of the things that I've seen of his that I love. And for
Mhm.
him, he doesn't ever actually miss for me for the most part. Like
Same.
that just wasn't my favorite of the brilliant things that he's made otherwise.
Mhm.
And I think that anyway, yeah, I have a lot of thoughts about that movie too, and a lot of thoughts about directors and actors and pairings and all that stuff. But anyway, um that's a great question. I think
I just want to know how malleable your top 5 is, because mine, that's the first time anything changed in it in my like top 5 movies list in since I was probably, you know, 20 or something.
I don't even know if I could list a top 5. I can maybe give a top 3, top maybe 4. But the list is not it it's malleable enough, I'd say. I think that I'm always open to something new and exciting. I think oh, you know what I watched recently that I thought was just really great, and it's not something I normally would enjoy, but it was for this podcast, so maybe it's cheating. Was the movie Tommy from The Who? It's the rock
Mm.
opera by The Who, and it reminded me a lot of like a German new wave film. And I know people love French new wave, but I really fuck with German new wave movies. I just think there's a lot more that I enjoy and that I find interesting about that. And that to me read very similar in that similar vein. And I haven't stopped thinking about it since I saw it and reviewed it for this podcast with a friend of mine. So I'd say that would be up there.
Cool. I have never seen it, but I
Yeah.
like The Who.
Well, they did it on Broadway, then they made the movie out of it. It's this whole it's a rock opera, and just the visuals. I mean, if I smoked weed like I used to, I would have probably really loved this movie. You know what I mean? Just given everything kind of coming at you, and the music is great, and yeah, just all the context behind how it was made and stuff. But yeah, I don't. I saw the movie We Live in Time recently too, and that one was really good. It's Florence Pugh and Andrew Garfield. Very very sad, and maybe I gravitate towards that sadness. Where it just I thought it was a very well told story about something that wouldn't be very easy to. It would be easy to fuck up and make it feel really cheesy. It's basically about this couple. It's a non-linear perspective the way it's told, but this couple meets. They fall in love. She gets cancer, that she goes through chemo and all that stuff. She's fine. Then it comes back again, but this time they have a kid, and she's like, I don't want to go through this another 9 months, basically, for it to maybe to not work, and I can't enjoy my life. She's like, I'd rather have a really good year not taking treatment, and then die, basically. And
And
I
he
when I
says, well, that's all right with me. If that's what you think it should be, then I can agree with you. Because he's
God,
Southern, because he's good at being Southern.
he's so southern. He played. So as a fun fact about Andrew Garfield, who I enjoy in certain things, but something about his face I can't take seriously. In a lot of, I mean, that's so mean.
I
That
get
I
it.
don't, and I don't want to sound like I don't think he's a good looking guy. He's a very
No, no.
handsome man. Yeah,
You're just saying he is hard to take seriously, which,
yeah.
yeah, he has the look of that.
Kind of a dumb dude, but like he probably carries a tote bag and has books on him, but like he maybe can't explain to you what the books are about.
Hmm.
Like that kind of a vibe. And I'm not saying that it's not a cool vibe to have, or that's not something that people should aspire to be, or whatever. But yeah, and you can't control your face, I guess. But yeah, his face just kind of doesn't work for me on a dramatic level. But I think his first acting role he ever had as a British man was on Doctor Who, the reboot with David Tennant's Doctor, and he played a Southern guy from like the Civil War. Excuse me. And now I'm just like watching it, and I had already like I remember was in Spider-Man at the time, and so like when I was kind of watching Doctor Who, like kind of revisiting that, and I put two and two together. I'm like, wait, that's the British guy who's Spider-Man now, and he's playing this country dude who like this fuck. Oh, no, it was not from World War II. It was from the Great Depression. He had like the little bindle and a little like train cap, very stereotypical what you'd think someone from the Great Depression, if you aren't American, would wear. And
Right.
I'm like, they couldn't. They had Americans in that show. It wasn't like Harry Potter where they just refused to cast American people or non-British people for Doctor Who. So it's like so it doesn't. Anyway, that's where my grievances with Andrew Garfield started. But he has been in some banger movies, and I can't deny his talent as an actor.
Sure. But he looks kind of silly,
He does.
let's say.
He has this kind of a silly looking face, and then and I do think that this one is warranted. But Chris Pratt, I can never take as a serious like actor or action star, because again, you're just looking at Andy Dwyer. You know what I mean? You're
Hmm.
looking at this goofy dude. No matter how ripped he gets, no matter how good looking he gets, or whatever he gets done to himself, he still is gonna have this like dopey face. Um, what
Yeah,
what about
I think he is cast very well for that, for the
now?
most
He
part.
is. I think
Like
there was a time in
all of his
well, there was
characters are sort of allowed to be doofusy.
Although in Jurassic World, I could not buy that he was a fucking scientist. I'm sorry, that's maybe offensive, but he's
Okay,
like,
I haven't seen any
here's
of
all
those,
this.
and I
I
didn't
saw
know
the
he
first,
was. He's not a
yeah,
scientist.
he,
He can't
he's
be.
a sci- he is. He's like, here's all like the stats on blah blah blah, and I'm just like, but he's saying it in the voice that he's saying it. He doesn't change his like intonation at all. He's like, oh, I pulled up the information on this computer and blah blah blah, and I'm like, and then Jake Johnson's in that movie for some reason from New Girl is in there too, and he's a scientist. And I'm like, why
Wow.
are you getting these two the most doofiest looking guys to be? It's so like what was like Willem Dafoe not available or something, like because he could pull off a scientist.
Willem Dafoe's definitely can be a scientist.
I think he can. I could see like I could see like
Maybe.
I really
Oh no, go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, I was just gonna list off people who could play scientists. Like Bryce Dallas Howard, I bought as a scientist, so she was very like very poised and like seemed like she knew. She is like that in everything that she does too. But like Chris Pratt and Jake Johnson as our best and brightest working in science.
I'm wondering, did those guys maybe, because by this point Jurassic Park has expanded into, I haven't seen them, but expanded into like a whole uh like corporation kind of, right? So
That's what those
maybe,
new ones
so did those guys maybe go to like Jurassic University,
are.
which would
Oh,
be a great prequel. That's sure it would make one. But maybe they're like top of their class at Jurassic U, where basically they teach like, here's what a raptor looks like. Don't let the T Rex out.
right. I I think I that there is a chance that or maybe there's nepotism. We don't know, where it's like, how did this guy get the job? Oh, his dad funded X, Y, and Z, and
Hmm.
that's why we have this whole new wing with these new little balls that people can roll around in and watch the herbivores eat trees or whatever.
Yeah, Chris Pratt's character might have been Richard Attenborough's character's son or like
I think
nephew.
that could be it. I don't think any, and actually did cover Jurassic Park on this podcast as on the recent
First or
episode.
favorite?
That was his favorite.
Is
And
that the
you know what?
T-shirt for this podcast? First or favorite?
You know what? That's a great. I don't have any merch ideas. I thought I would just use like the logo that I had made, but I haven't expanded into merch yet. As I sit with boxes of my own stand-up merch that is unsold, I'm a little bit hesitant to be like, well, how about we pop into some podcast merch? Because maybe shirts with my face on it aren't really doing it for people. Maybe let's get something else, which I understand. It's jarring to have someone else's face on your body. I understand that, but
Hmm.
it is. It's and I
Like,
have
which one do I talk to?
right. It's like, yeah. Well, if I am encountering somebody in the wild with a shirt with my face on it, it's like, well, thank you. Also, but also like this is a little weird. It's actually not that weird. My own ego is like, no, this is fucking awesome. But in reality, if you think about it like a sane person who isn't fueled by the things that I am possibly fueled by, it's weird. Although I do have a lot of shirts with people's faces on it. My favorite T-shirt is Nathan Fielder on a bulldozer from The Curse that I got from the A24 shop. It was like it came out. It was like a limited drop or whatever. It was made by some designer that like I don't know who it is. It doesn't matter. But like on the back it has a bunch of cool stuff. But on the front it's him in the bulldozer with the hat on. And I get every time I wear it, I get stopped by it being like, "Is that Nathan Fielder?" And I'm like, "Sure, fucking is."
Nice.
So
You want to ask me a rapid fire question? I'll answer it rapid fire. I swear to God. I
well then
swear to God, I'll answer it so fast.
it's okay. You know, it's okay.
No,
I'm not.
I will do it in less than a sentence.
No, I'm not. I don't want you thinking I don't want to hang out with you. That sounds like I don't. Like I want to get you off.
No, we
You
got a
out of here.
show to do. What's
We
my
have
favorite thing to eat or drink or watch during a
uh,
movie?
well,
Well, the
not to
movie.
what I okay. Let me ask the question. I have to just do the question again so I can find a place to edit this. Um,
I promise.
it's okay. Thank you for asking me questions because people don't ever ask me questions. In general, people rarely want to know what I'm thinking, and so I appreciate that you asked a question, or not, you asked several. When you're at the movies, at the theater, or watching a movie at home or a TV show, what do you have to have to drink and to eat? Like and it could be the same thing, could be different depending on environment. What do you need to have to get in the zone?
I'm not a big during a movie snacker.
Oh my god.
As a kid, I loved to have some candy, of course. But when
Mhm.
didn't I? Let's be honest. Uh,
Well, yeah,
Now, as an adult, I'm not getting popcorn or anything like that.
yeah.
Certainly not at a theater. But I have a little whiskey or a beer,
Hmm. And
and
that goes in any case, home or theater.
I mean, no. Sometimes just nothing. Sometimes I just watch the movie and I don't have anything in my
Right.
mouth at all.
Well, that's fair. I mean, sometimes it, people have their creature comforts for things, and you are the first guest that I've had, and I think this is episode 20 or 21 that I've recorded so far, not released but recorded. I'm also in the camp of I don't like to eat while I watch movies because I don't like
Hmm.
hearing myself chew, and also like unless I'm doing like a double or triple feature at a theater, like when Belcourt was doing the David Lynch like review of all his movies when he passed. I did the double feature, the classic double feature of Straight Story and Inland Empire. um, and and by the time it rolled around for Inland Empire, I was like, well, this is like a 5 hour movie. It's not. It's 5. I was like, this is going to be the rest of my fucking evening. I should probably get something to eat because I'm gonna not. I'm. It'll be 10 o'clock by the time I leave, and I got here at 2.
Yeah,
So,
and you don't want to go to Inland Empire hungry.
oh god, of all the ones,
It's grueling enough
it
without that.
is. It is, but it's nice to hear that other people don't like to eat. Whenever I've shared that with people too, they act like I'm some sort of fucking monster. We're like, you don't like to eat during the movies. It's like I I can hear fine, but the distraction of all I move going to the theater is like going to church for me. So
Yes.
do you eat in a church? Well, you do communion, I guess. But like, do
You
you eat in
don't,
a
but
church?
I was gonna say I do have to be watching a movie if I'm eating at a restaurant. So I get it in that way.
I
But
see. So you have to have a screen on. So your favorite restaurant is Chili's. Good to know.
yeah,
You gotta have the screen on. You have to have it on silent, no subtitles.
I ask them to turn it up, but they usually do say no.
Well, because it probably will interfere with like a football game or something. Something that people haven't seen yet.
Yeah. And so then I will open my laptop and put on uh, a movie. I won't say which movie it is that stars Christopher Lloyd. Uh, and I turn it up so that I can hear it because they have the football game is turned silent anyway. So it's like, what's the difference? And then I get asked to leave Chili's.
Well, I mean, that explains why we've never been there together. I guess
Mhm.
that's the only reason why we've never gone to Chili's.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's the reason that I don't go there
the only
with
reason.
most people.
That's fair. If you're not allowed there, that's a reason why you don't go there. If someone's not letting you be in that place, then that's a good reason to not go.
it really gets in the way of my uh, favorite Martian time.
that you've been having since last night. I get it. You've
I'm retroactively placing that movie in all the other movies that I've seen.
So any other time you were watching, I don't know, Midsummer, or you're watching the Addams Family Values or
Hmm.
whatever, you're just like, no, I wasn't actually watching this. I was watching My Favorite Martian starring Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah. And it's easy to do that. It's easy to do that in your head because, like, Adam's Family has Christopher Lloyd in it already. So just
Oh,
make him
right.
be a Martian instead of the guy he was. Midsummer, some of it, a lot of it takes place during the day, and there are scenes in My Favorite Martian that take place during the day. So you just sort of, it's just pretty easy to swap it out
So
if you
would you do
try.
so would you do a so if you could, and then we'll get into you talking about your stuff, because this is the longest I've actually this is truly the longest episode I've done so far, and it flew by. I'm not even saying, I just looked at the timestamp and I'm like, this is gonna take me a minute, but this is but that truly has been a very, very fun time, and it does not feel like it's been almost 2 hours, where we talked a little bit about both movies and a lot about other. We didn't really cover either movie that much. I feel like in like the
I got,
time.
I was as serious about both one as I could handle being.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm assuming the Holocaust movie that you're referring to is Schindler's List.
Yes, yeah. So
Okay, so I don't know if I ever told you this, but when I was in sixth grade, in it couldn't have been history class, some class, maybe it was history class. They were like, "Okay, we're gonna watch Schindler's List in class. It's a very important movie. It's a very
mm,
heavy movie.
yeah.
It's a very long movie. So we're gonna watch it. We're gonna watch half of it today, and we're gonna watch half of it tomorrow." So we watched the first half of it, and then the next day it did not come up again, and we never watched the second half of it, and I've never seen the second half of Schindler's List.
Well,
So we watched the half. There wasn't even a list yet
yeah.
where we were.
Yeah.
It was just all the heavy shit, and
Right.
no shred of hope or relief.
I'd imagine that a parent probably complained, or a kid told the parent complained, and that was the end of that. But I
Yeah,
mean,
I guess so, but didn't help
again,
me.
going well. You could always finish the second half of the movie, and I fully believe that you could, um, pick up where you left off.
It would have been second of the VHS tapes. Kind of a bummer, though. It's from what I've seen. Kind of a
Yeah,
huge bummer.
I wouldn't say it's like a real knee slapper of a movie. I don't really know of many Holocaust movies that are. The only well,
I I would hope that in the second half there's at least a couple gags.
right, a couple maybe pull out a rubber chicken.
Yeah, Nazi
Uh,
falling into some mud, his butt gets mud
right,
on it.
right. Actually,
Something.
gets shot in the butt on accident. Something
Yeah,
like
it goes,
that.
oh,
Oh no, you got shot in my ass.
yeah.
I
Just
think
give me one of those.
the only two World War II movies that don't really, I would say, have anything to do with the Holocaust per se, but World War II as a whole, that do their best to have levity in them for some reason, are Jojo Rabbit, Taika Waititi,
Hmm.
and I think I laughed a lot in Inglorious Bastards, and I know, yeah, and
Definitely.
I think you're supposed to. I wasn't like, I don't think like I'm
Yeah.
not supposed to laugh at this stuff. So those are the only
Yeah,
two
you
that
for sure are.
it's like I
And
watched those.
I would rather watch. I've seen Inglorious Bastards almost more than I think I've seen any other movie, and I would watch it double that amount. I think before I want to see the rest of Schindler's List.
Fair enough. I saw Schindler's List is not Schindler's List. Inglorious Bastards is on Netflix, and it's funny. I probably am gonna watch it tonight because I fucking love that. It might be my favorite of Tarantino's,
It is
maybe.
mine for sure.
I think because, like, I mean, I love Pulp Fiction, for so many reasons, but I think Glorious Bastards just like it just hits.
Yeah,
It's so good,
I
and
agree.
it really
Perfect.
captures his style and his sense of humor, and his like it's him to the top, at the top of his game, and I think every director has that movie. and then after that, then they kind of maybe start to fall off a little bit, or they start easing into their what they think works for them as a director. And I'm
Mhm.
not saying that happened to Tarantino with that, but I will say that is like his best. And I don't think a lot of people would say that that's his best movie.
I think it is his best, and yeah, everything post it,
That's fine.
varying results, but
Yeah, I mean, Hard Eight was fine. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, fine. But anyway,
yeah,
we are coming in on 2 hours.
yeah.
And my cat also is yowling a little bit. I think she's hungry, and so I got Margot. Margot, she may not like you anymore now because you're keeping me from feeding her. Um,
Well, she hasn't heard my
she-
audio.
so she doesn't know that it's you. She thinks it's just someone else that I'm talking to on a screen.
She
In the
hasn't
end,
heard all the great content.
she hasn't heard the great. She will.
She,
She will be hearing all of it multiple times as I edit this. But Zach, I hate to cut it short with you. I know this has not been. We could talk for hours, obviously. But what I'm going to let you go. So tell the audience where people can find you and what you got going on.
well, I am the co-host of a podcast of my very own, which has virtually nothing to do with uh, my favorite Martian, but not nothing. It, it is called Metaphiles, Metaphiles, available for free on YouTube or audio only version on all the places where those are. I think it's on all of them. It's a strange time to plug it because we unfortunately did just air our season finale episode, and when will the new season begin? Nobody quite knows. But it's a perfect time to go back into the archives and listen to all the episodes that you missed, which probably is all of them based on the numbers that I have seen.
And I'm also on an episode too, audience,
That's
for the
correct.
connection there.
Yes, every episode we discuss a different topic, and we ask our guests to choose a topic that they would like to discuss with us. And you chose the meaty subject of license plates.
Yes.
And so that would be a great jumping on point for fans of this, because it's like this, except there's a third person talking and less of it is movies,
Yeah.
but not
My
none.
favorite. Not none. I don't think that. I'm sure. Oh, I did. I think I do remember the joke that I made that I still think it makes me giggle to this day. One Flew Over the Cuckold's Nest,
Yeah, that's solid.
and
And
that's a
if you want
movie.
to hear that joke be made, check that one
Again,
out again.
yeah, slightly younger sounding Courtney.
Sure.
Sure. The smoking hasn't helped the voice. So if you want to hear me from the past say that same exact thing,
Hmm.
among other things. Sorry, I'm letting you plug this, and I'm like here promoting my own episode on your show.
It's helping. The people
Thank
who
you.
are tuned into this like to hear you.
Right.
So this is another place you can do that. Then eventually you'll hear parts of it that Courtney is not on. But we're going to get you through that, me and my co host, Jason Ford. And we discuss topics, and we are just very good at doing that. So give it a listen. It's the Metaphiles, Metaphiles,
And
a
Jason's
name
gonna be.
that we still are using.
Well, why wouldn't you?
Oh, there's lots of reasons.
Okay. Well, fair enough. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. No, I got you. And Jason's gonna be a future guest on this podcast too. So that all works out. I would have had you both on, but this would have probably been a 5-hour episode. Honestly,
Yeah.
too
Yeah.
much. Too much. But anyway, is there anything else you wanted to plug, or is that all you got? And that's okay if that's all you want to share. That sounds like I'm shaming you, and I'm not. I just want to make sure you let everyone know, all 12s of my listeners. I'm sure there's more. There'll be more than that by the time
Yeah.
this comes around. But anything else you want to share? Anything you got going on?
First of all, thank you for not plug shaming me.
I would never shame you about your plug.
I do not feel shame in this moment. No, that seems good. This is a
Okay.
this is a podcast, and if you liked listening to me talk on a podcast, you can keep doing that.
Awesome. Well, they can definitely do that, and I'll obviously
And
hang
please
up.
do. I'd like it if they did. I'd like that.
If you got some cinephiles listening to metaphiles,
Yeah.
I think
Which
there's
yeah.
okay.
That's the name.
Okay.
The name's
Okay.
a joke.
Okay.
We regret the name now.
Okay.
um,
Well,
not
well,
fans of the Meta Corporation or anything like that. It's not that sort of a show.
okay. Well, audience, I think that was a very strong plug that tapered off at the end, but that doesn't take away from the quality of what Zach puts out into the universe with Jason Ford, who is also a lovely friend of mine. Well, Zach, thanks for being on. This was truly the longest episode I've ever done, and it probably will reflect that in the runtime. So I'm excited for everyone to get an extra long episode of this. And thanks for listening, guys. And we'll be back next week. This has been Core Memory, a podcast about movies, and I'm your host, Cortney Warner. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Please feel free to like and subscribe on anywhere that you get your podcasts. Would absolutely love the support on there. If you enjoyed today's episode and any of our other episodes, also we are on Instagram at Core Memory Pod. Please feel free to give us a follow on there as well if you want any behind the scenes tidbits or any kind of fun visuals on there. And again, thank you for listening, and we hope that you'll listen again soon.